This right here is my first ever helicopter in Flyout. It is not very good, but it does work. Now, I might be making a very big mistake here, but essentially I'm going to be going from this thing to something along the lines of a Chinook with forward-facing props. That makes no sense whatsoever, but it is a big jump, and we're going to go ahead and try and do it. So, yeah, join me. Okay, so this one is going to be a bit of a time-lapse video. I'm going to go ahead and start a new project, and we're going to go ahead and build a cockpit and stuff like that, as well as the main body and the fuselage, and then we'll go from that with the propellers and the gearboxes and also the engines afterwards. So I'll be back with you guys after this time-lapse. Okay, so let's get building, shall we? Straight away, we obviously need a fuselage for this. I wanted to make it sort of squared off because, you know, we're building a helicopter sort of based loosely on the Chinook, but it also has forward props, as you guys already know from the thumbnail and stuff like that. Now, I have already built this and I have made this thing fly, but I do want to say this was one of the most difficult things that I've actually made that does actually sort of work now. In fact, it works very well now. But you guys will see throughout this that I struggle like crazy with this. Anyway, I wanted to go ahead and do the nose. I wanted it to be a little bit pointy, but also kind of rounded, and that is what we ended up doing right there. I then put in some windows on the front, as you guys can see, and honestly, this looks a little bit ugly to begin with. I do sort of sort this out a little bit in the end, but it does look ugly to start with. From there, I've obviously went ahead and started rounding off the front end as well. This is something that I actually thought was going to be a little bit more difficult, but in the end, actually worked out quite nicely. I actually moved it all backwards as well. I wanted kind of like a more pointy nose at this point. Now that I knew what it was actually looking like, I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, let's go ahead and put the pilot on the inside. Trying to fit the actual pilot onto the inside of this thing without having the box that the pilot is sat in poking out the sides is actually sort of difficult. As you guys can see right there, it is poking out the front, which is really annoying, especially because I actually wanted two pilots in there. But anyway, let's go and extend this bit backwards a little bit. There you go. I went ahead and painted in some of that. I give this window a little bit of detail. In the end, these windows sort of get mucked up a little bit because we end up doing quite a lot of modifications to the side of this thing. And it ends up being kind of difficult. As an afterthought right now, I'm actually looking at this and I'm thinking maybe an actual working cargo door would have been really good for this. But I do think that's a little bit more detailed than I want to do right now. I just want to go ahead and try and get a little bit better at the game. And then once I'm better at the game, I think it'll go better from there. This bit right here was a bit of a mistake. If you have a little look at the numbers at the top, I thought we were going backwards in tens, but actually it was getting smaller and smaller and smaller with every one of these. Now, I didn't see that at the time, but that was actually the case. So I went ahead and deleted all of those, and then I did some guesswork as to how big these things actually are. So yeah, this is me trying to guess how big these things are going to be for the windows, which seems to make sense, actually. In the end, this does actually somewhat work. There you go. I have to put in some extra pieces there and there, just so we can add windows in the center. We have to do it at the front as well, and then we'll have to do it at the back as well. Now that I'm looking at this afterwards, I'm actually thinking maybe they're not quite right. I feel like they're a little bit too big, and I feel like the aircraft itself is actually a little bit too small for what I was attempting to do. But it still works. In the end, it still actually works. Anyway, this is me trying to figure out how to do the top bit for the main rotor on the top, because it has to be a little bit taller than the one at the front. So essentially, this is me making a rectangular bit. Not a rectangular, an oval bit, so that we can actually have this sit directly on the top without interfering with the rest of it. In the end, I actually think this looks pretty good, and then we actually add one to the front as well, but this one at the front is a lot smaller. Here we go. Bam. Knock that down, knock it forwards, and in the end, this actually looks pretty sick. There you go. Bam. Let's go ahead and make that closed off. Go ahead and do the same thing with this one. I've lowered it down a little bit, and we've closed it off right there. This is me now doing the windows. I do mess this up in the end anyway, and what actually ends up happening is these guys go straight back to being squared off. But yeah. Also, I did manage to not actually mirror these at this time, so I actually end up having to do it on the other side as well, which is kind of annoying. In fact, it is very annoying. There you go. Bam. There you go. All of these guys getting done on both sides. Fan-dabby-dozy. And there we go. Lovely. I think they do actually look pretty good like that, but in the end, we just went with some square ones. This is me putting another pilot in. Obviously, they are sort of sat on each other's lap, which is a little bit annoying, but it's all down to the box that they are put in, which is super duper annoying. Anyway, this is me now putting the rotors on. I need a gearbox, then we needed a rotor, and I needed to try and figure out how big these rotors should be. I settled for 0.4. Whether I should have settled for that or not, I'm not sure. This doesn't actually look too bad. I then had to push it down through the roof, because we couldn't have it just like poking up like that. And then we add another one to the rear, and yeah, it ends up actually sort of looking alright, I suppose. In the end, I actually make this like a contra-rotating... I can't speak when I do voiceovers. A contra-rotating prop on both the front and the back, even though they are already contra-rotating each other. But yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and do some normal speaking now. Alright, there we go. Look at that. They are actually spinning. Let's go ahead and press 4 so the collective raises them up. Has that worked? I mean, that is collective all the way up. It's just not moving. Oh, yikes. Okay, pitches. Oh, that's wrong. Okay, hang on. We need to turn them both to the right. So we need to do this. There we go. That is forwards. Is that correct? That might actually be wrong. But there we go. Good. So spawn it in again and try again. Okay, guys, here we go. Let's throttle up to full. Go ahead and collective up, and then go. Okay, that doesn't seem to be doing very much. Okay, roll works. Okay, as you guys can see. But pitch does not work. We're not powerful enough. Okay. I mean, to be fair, these engines don't look big enough anyway. So let's go ahead and make these actually quite large. There we go. Go ahead and raise these up. There we go. Send them out to the side slightly. And that looks a lot more realistic, I guess. But let's go with a little bit smaller. There we go. They look fine. I'm sure that's okay. Maybe. There we go. So we still got the same turbines, so they should still be spinning. They're not quite attached, but don't worry about that. All right, here we go. Throttle up and lift off. Hey, nice. Okay, so it lifted off for a second, and then it went back down to not being flying. Why did that happen? Unbelievable. Come on. Oh, yikes. Oh, yikes. Okay, we need more power. We need a little bit more power. All right, the power should be there now. Let's go ahead and get ourselves into the air. Okay. I say the power should be there now. It's not actually there, is it? It's not actually there. Oh, come on. Come on. Oh, that's not good. Oh, yikes. Oh, no. Oh, no. My pilots, they're drunk. They're so drunk. All right, that seems good. I've increased it by 0.1. So that's good. Anyway, let's go to Fuselage, and we'll actually box these guys in. Because I like the idea of doing that. I think it usually looks pretty good. So make this 0.3. I think 0.3 is about the right size. Not really, but kind of. 0.3, it'll have to be like 0.4, I'm sure in the end. But let's go ahead and just attach this onto there. And voila, there we go. Oh no, actually that's about right. That is actually about right. Send it backwards to the rear. There we go. Send it forwards to the front, and then we should be good to go. There we go. I'm actually going to go ahead and send it slightly past this. I'm going to raise this up a tiny touch. There we go. And then what we're going to do is inlets. I want to use an intake. I've never used these before, but I feel like I should have. So there you go. Going to go ahead and make the radius. Oh, actually. Oh, I've never messed with these at all, actually, I should say. 0.3 is where it's at. There we go. Cone size shouldn't be that big. There we go. And we're actually just going to go ahead and pull this forwards to sit on the front of the engine. Just like this. Bosh. There we go. Nice. That's not quite right. It's very close to being. There we go. Good. Yeah. I mean, they don't look particularly good, but they fit. Here we go. Throttle up and lift off. Hey, nice. Okay, so we got it in the sky. Okay, not quite though. It's not quite right. We still don't really have enough power to go forwards. Oh, we do if we are going forwards. Okay, interesting. Do I have any yaw control? Not really. Not really. Okay, that's strange. This is such a weird thing going on. We're in the air, though. It is flying. Okay, cool. Okay, so we've got an aeroplane. We've got a helicopter, which is a dual rotor. It doesn't work particularly well, but it does work a little bit, which is essentially what we wanted. Anyway, let's go ahead and do this and do this. There we go. Fantastic. And then we're going to go ahead and make these guys a hell of a lot smaller, because clearly that's what we need to do. Grab each and every one of these. There we go. Send it forwards to just underneath there. Go ahead and grab these two and bring those backwards. There we go. And then grab each of these on the edge and send it this way. Okay, so now you might be wondering, what are you doing? Well, this is the point where we add the propellers to the back end to make it work a little bit nicer. When I say work a little bit nicer, it might work worse, but who knows? All right, so right here, I'm actually going ahead and putting on some propeller little, pods, essentially. This is just a little bit of a station where we can have some big old engines. Now, I was thinking at the time, maybe I could actually use the big engines on the top for this, but I wanted the front to be just as powerful as the back, so that didn't actually end up working out. But in the end, this actually looks pretty good, so what do you think? Okay, as for the front piece, let's go ahead and extrude this, make it go forwards, make it go to 0.2, and make this one go to 0.1. There we go, awesome. Extrude it again. I'm actually going to go ahead and send it backwards from there, and that's where the gearbox will go, and that'll be fine. Extrude it again, make this 0, and that's okay, good. All right, so let's go to this. Gearbox is going to go directly in there, in the center. We're going to make this very small, because we should. There we go. I guess quite small. We don't have to make it tiny. And then we're going to go ahead and put a propeller on there. Okay, so prop, yes. Propeller, yes. Attach it directly onto there. That's good. And now we're ready to go. I'm going to make it a 3-bladed propeller. The blades are going to look like this. Yeah, sure. We're going to make this 40, then 20, and then 0. And we're going to see if this works. Yeah, okay. So if I can click on the gearboxes, that'd be great. This gearbox is going to be controlled via this turbine. Why is that off to the side all the way over there? What's that all about? Why is this all the way over here? No, that's not right. That is not right. There we go. Now it's in. What the hell? Why was that all the way over there? That's really strange. Anyway, now it's in. That's fine. That gearbox needs changing, so not this one. Not that one. This one. Aha, there we go. And that is going to be controlled by the turbine right next to it. There we go. Okay, cool. So hopefully this works. I don't know how we're going to get it to work normally, but we'll see. We'll see what happens here. We need slightly more powerful engines. What is the easiest way to get more powerful engines? Make them a tiny bit bigger. So we're going to go up to 0.775. That's good. We now need the fuselage that was inside of these. If we can. Where is that? There it is. And we're going to make that bigger too. So instead of 0.3, it's probably 0.4 now. There we go. And 0.4 right there. Bosh. Good. Although it's slightly smaller. So 0.38. Yes. Okay, and 0.38. Maybe even smaller than that, just about. Yeah, okay. 0.37. And 0.37. Hey. 0.37. Yep, okay, go to the front, do the same thing. 0.37. 0.37. We then need the nose cones, which are currently stuck inside of there, I do believe. So we got to bring those out, and these got to be 0.37 as well. Bosh. There we go. Bring this backwards so it looks like it sort of fits. Cool. That actually looks pretty good. They're a lot stronger than they were before, so this is going to be kind of interesting. Move them all up a little bit. There we go, and hopefully that works. Obviously, we have made the engines bigger, which in this case actually makes this a bit of an issue. It makes it a little bit of an issue. Or, what we could do is make these a lot smaller. Oh, actually, this is a good point. We can make them smaller, again, and then actually just have some engines at the front powering these ones as well. Maybe. I am going to mention it now as well. I did actually see a picture of this like a long time ago. Something like this anyway. I'm not even entirely sure what it was, but essentially it was a Chinook. It had push props and it had like engines here. I don't know whether it had any engines at the front, but that doesn't really matter in this case because we're just going to do it anyway. We can do whatever we want with this, and we will be doing whatever we want with it. So let's modify this guy, send it backwards to around there. That seems good. We're then going to try and copy the entire thing and send it to the front. So if I can, I believe this is going to copy everything. We're going to copy these guys. I'm going to shove them on there like this. We're then going to rotate it around. Let me try and select it all again. Oh, is this the back? Is this the back or the front? I don't know whether it's been put in there upside down or not. I think that's the back. And we're going to go ahead and do this. Hey, okay. I mean, I guess we can get away with this. We do need to move them slightly, otherwise, again, we'll have issues. But if we move them upwards and slightly sideways, I think they're too big. I was thinking we'd have like little tiny ones, but honestly, I guess this is fine. So, now we need to go to each of the gearboxes and make them work off of the gears that are right next to them. So that one and that one. There we go, good. We then need to go to that gearbox on the inside of here, this one, and make it powered by the ones next to it, which it already is. And then these guys are already powered by those ones. Okay, we should be good here. Alright, so now I'm going to talk you through some of the testing. As you guys can see right here, it didn't go well. It actually flipped over on the front quite badly, and it was because I don't think the front engines were actually powered on. Then we did a little bit more of a test flight, and it did not go well. I tried to trim out the yaw. That was never going to work because the yaw just wasn't going to work out like this. And then we tried again. I tried to turn off the propellers on the back, and we just had the same issue. So I did come up with a solution for this in the end, but yeah, these test flights, not good. Okay, so after quite a lot of testing, I would say that this isn't quite correct, what I'm about to show you guys, but it's not awful. So, that's a thing. Anyway, let's go ahead and do this. There we go. We are in the sky. That is with collective up. We do need to sort out our balancing, but that's okay. We are now in the sky. Now, if I want to twist to the left, I go ahead and put in my yaw input to the left, and it does actually work. Essentially, what happens is, whoa, the rotor at the front actually tilts to the left, and the rotor at the back tilts to the right, and that is how that works. And essentially, that pushes us around in a bit of a circle. The only thing that actually messes with, which is actually quite bad, is actually, oh, hold on. As soon as we put that input in, obviously we lose actual lift. And if we lose lift, we lose everything. And then we fall out the sky and we die. But honestly, it works somewhat, so I'm actually still kind of happy with this thing. It doesn't work perfectly, obviously, but it's not crazy bad, so that's a thing. But anyway, if we go ahead and throttle up to full, and we zoom around, this thing does actually somewhat work. I'm happy about that. Okay, so now it's time to try and figure out how to do the landing gear. Now, I do actually take inspiration from some helicopters in real life where they have this little bulge on the side where the landing gear essentially fits into. So that is essentially what I'm copying right now. This is unfortunate because as soon as I paste this, all of the windows and all of the work that we did on the windows actually gets undone, which is kind of super annoying, especially when you spent quite a long time actually working on it. And yeah, I thought I would end it there, but actually I ended up pushing that bit a little bit further forwards and doing it like that. I then wanted it even further forwards, so I did it a little bit more. Honestly, in the end, that actually looks pretty good. I added some landing gear right here like this that does retract, and I actually made it quite large, as you guys will see in a second. I did essentially the same at the front and the back, so we have 4 landing gear, and yeah, it looks very strange once it's actually out on the runway, but doesn't look terrible. There it is. Okay, it looks very weird. Looks extremely strange. But it folds up and it totally works, and that's fine. That is mighty fine. Okay, cool. We done it. We did it, guys. It still flies very, very weirdly. Indeed, like extremely strangely. But if you want to get somewhere, just don't get in this. If you want to actually get somewhere, yeah, this isn't the helicopter for you. Not at all. Okay, this might be a very, 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 very weird thing to do, but I'm gonna go ahead and grab this guy. No, actually not that guy. I'm just gonna go ahead and grab a new wing. And I'm actually going to give this thing sort of like vertical stabilizers. but going downwards, which might be very, very strange and just like a weird thing to do. But what I'm hoping it acts like is actually some sort of like blocker so that it actually works properly in the end. So I'm actually going to go ahead and flop this down to like 90 degrees. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and grab this and make it very small. So this one, this one, this one, and this one are all going to get sent backwards to about here. We're then going to do a similar thing with these guys, send it forwards to about there. We're then going to grab each of these, send it upwards, and just make it small, okay? So these guys going to go backwards. These guys going to go slightly forwards. And this one is actually going to go straight up into there. Now, they're not going to do anything, okay? They're not actually going to have, like, any control surfaces that actually work. So hopefully that sort of negates some of it. That one is not even on. How is this? Why does this keep happening? Why does this keep happening? I'm confused, because it shouldn't be. Look, it's actually in the right place. That's really weird. But I'm going to leave that going down like that. This honestly looks very ugly to me. I feel like I've done a very bad job of making this look nice. But hopefully you guys don't think it looks too bad. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Downwards like this. Very strange. Hopefully it does something. Alright, so here it is. I don't know why I've just picked up the landing gear, but I have. That is a weird choice for me to do, but there you go. We are now not able to actually take off properly, and I'm not entirely sure why. That was really weird. Let's go ahead and zoom it to the side. There we go. It's really hard to use the yaw on this. Like, it is extremely difficult. In fact, sometimes it doesn't even want to work. So, I don't know what to do in that situation. I don't know what to do in that situation. What would you do? What would you do in this situation? It's so difficult. Look at it. It's even staying like that. That one is pitched backwards, and this one is pitched sideways. Wait, is that why I'm having so many issues? Because one of them is doing one thing, one of them is doing a different thing. I can't tell what's happening. Okay, just to make sure this isn't actually a problem, I am replacing the entire rotor. So that's going to go directly onto there. We're essentially going to copy all of the same things in. So this is 0.4. It is 3 blades. There we go. This is like 5. This is 5. That is on roll, and we're not actually going to put anything in there. This is going to be like 3. There we go. So that is back to how it was. But this time we know for sure that it's actually poking forwards, or it's actually pointing forwards. We're then going to do the same thing with this guy. So if I can, let's go ahead and... I can't seem to... I need to grab this. Hey, there we go. Good, we did it. Let's go ahead and lift this out. Go ahead and take this, delete it, and do the next one. This is ridiculous. Like, if this works after this, I'm going to be so happy. But at the same time... Oh, no, did I do 2? Is there 2 in there? Please don't say there's 2 in there. There might be 2 in this. That's not very good if there is. Oh, there is, because look, that one's not got any... Oh, no. No! Okay, right, that's so annoying. Grab this piece. Hang on. This guy. Bring it back up, out of here. There we go. And reattach this. Oh, no. Okay, right. I'll do this and I'll be back in a second. Alright, I'm actually going to call it now. The one at the front is just acting all sketch. I don't know why it's doing it, but look at it. The angle on that is insane. It's just pushing it down to the left. That doesn't make much sense whatsoever. And I don't know why it's happening. So, there you go. Guys, I think I've somewhat completed the mission. So essentially what I've done is I've added contra-rotating props onto both of these, which seems like a very, very strange idea. I'm actually going to go ahead and feather this guy, and I'm also going to feather this guy. And the problem that we have now is that we're not actually, like, the engines aren't strong enough to actually lift this. So that's what we got to work on really quickly. Alright, so I've gone ahead and actually shut down both of the engines on the sides. They aren't actually doing anything right now, which is good. We're going to go ahead and press 4, which should get us into the sky, which is awesome. We're then going to go ahead and lift up our landing gear. There we go. Amazing. And then let's say we want to yaw to the left. We go ahead and just do it. Hey, there we go. Nice. So the way in which I've actually done this is the bottom rotor is actually tilting to the side, whereas the rotor on the back is actually tilting the opposite way, but not as much, which keeps us a lot more stable in the sky. And honestly, that just works, so I'm happy with that. Anyway, if we want to go forwards really quickly, all we got to do is do this and this. Go ahead and do this and this. And hopefully both of those engines do actually spool up, and then we can go. Unfortunately, only one of them spilled up currently. Alright, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and... Nice. Alright, so yeah, now we've got a lot more of a stable flight, which I am so happy about. There we go. So now we can actually fly it around like a normal helicopter. That's crazy. That is actually insane. Also, it just works. Fantastic. I built something that works, guys. We did it. Alright, a big test for this will actually be the autopilot. So let's go ahead and slap that on. Go ahead and set current. We'll actually do a speed of a little bit more. Let's go with 25. And our altitude is going to go up to like 750. There we go. And our heading stays the same. There we go. So we're going to engage this. And we're going to head in a straight line that way. And hopefully all will go well. That doesn't look great. That does not look great. Look at that. They're going through each other. That's ridiculous. But it works. It is flying. And it is flying very stably. Stably. The only thing that I need to say now is that these guides need changing. So the route of this needs increasing by about 23 or so. 23. And this one needs to come down by about 14. So increase by 23, down by 14. In fact, let's do that now. Okay, so I went ahead and fixed it. It now works a hell of a lot better than it did. This is around the right numbers, except this one. This one would be like... would need to raise about 6, but honestly, this is a-okay. And we are traveling at 246 miles an hour. Honestly, that is, what, like 40 miles an hour faster than a Chinook in real life? So I guess it might be worth having these propellers. Honestly, it's probably not, though, to be totally honest with you guys. But I do think this is actually flying quite nicely. Our altitude is still going up, so that's pretty good. And yeah, it is actually working. We're traveling in a straight line. There's the runway right there. And yeah, it's actually completely fine. What I really want to do is give this thing a bit of an interior, but I think I'll have to wait till next time, because this video is already long enough. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed whatever the heck this was, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.